Welcome back. This is Chapter 28B, Part 3, The Events of Fetal Development. At the end of the embryonic period, which is at the end of week 8, bones have begun to ossify, skeletal muscles are well formed and contracting, the metanephric kidneys are developing, and the gonads are formed. The lungs, digestive organs, are attaining their final shape and body position. Blood delivery to and from the placenta is constant and efficient. The heart and liver bulge on the ventral surface. All this is happening in an embryo that is less than 1 inch from its crown to the rump and weighs only 2 grams or 0.06 ounces. The fetal period is the time between weeks 9 and 38. So make sure you know that the embryo or embryonic period are the first 8 weeks, and then from the 9th week on, it's considered a fetus. This is a time of rapid growth of the body structures. The fetus grows all the way up to about 14 inches and approximately 7+ pounds. There are changes in the fetal appearance, and they're very dramatic. The greatest amount of growth occurs in the first 8 weeks when the embryo grows from a 1 cell to a 1-inch long fetus. All right, so now we're going to look at some photographs of a developing fetus. This embryo is 7 weeks old and approximately 17 millimeters long. So here we can see it's the embryo, and here is the amniotic sac and an umbilical cord. There's the umbilical vein, the chorionic villi, the tiny yolk sac, and here we see the cut edge of a chorion. At 3 months, we now have this. So it's much bigger fetus. The umbilical cord is so well developed. Look at the tiny yolk sac there, and we can see the different features that the fetus already has. Here is the umbilical cord. The fetus late in month 5, about 19 centimeters long. You can see it's a boy. It's very tight in there. There's the large umbilical cord, and you can see the amniotic fluid and whatnot. Okay, so let's go through how the embryo changes. So at the end of the embryonic period, so the beginning of the fetus, it's 8 weeks old. The head is nearly as large as the body, so it's almost 50% of the body's length. All of the major brain regions are present, and the first brain waves can be seen in a brain stem. The liver is disproportionately large, and it begins to form blood cells. The limbs are present. The digits initially are webbed, but the fingers and toes are free by the end of this interval. Ossification has begun. Weak spontaneous muscle contractions occur. The cardiovascular system is fully functional, with the heart pumping blood ever since week 4. All the body systems are present, at least in a rudimentary form, and it is approximately 9/10 of an inch long and weighs approximately 2 grams. All right, so weeks 9 to 12, this is during month 3. The head is still dominant, but the body is elongating. The brain continues to enlarge, cervical and lumbar enlargements appear in the spinal cord, and the retina of the eye is present. The skin epidermis and dermis are obvious. Facial features are present in a crude form. The liver is still prominent, the bile is being secreted, the palate is fusing, and most glands of the endodermal origin are beginning. Blood cell formation now begins in the bone marrow. The nodal cord is degenerating. There's ossification is accelerating, and the limbs are well molded. The sex is readily detected from the genitals, and it is approximately 90 millimeters from the crown to the rump. Okay, so that was up to week 12 and month 4 and month 3. Month 4 is weeks 13 to 16. Here we can see the cerebellum is prominent, The generally sensory organs are differentiated. Blinking of the eyes and sucking motion occurs in the lips. The growth of the body is beginning to outpace that of the head. The glands are developed in the GI tract. Meconium is collecting. The kidneys attain the typical structure that we now know in an infant. Most bones are now distinct and joint cavities are apparent. The approximate crown to rump length is 140 millimeters. Month 5. The vernus caseosa, which are fatty secretions of the sebation gland, covers the body. Lanugo, which is like silk-like hair, covers the skin. So if you have an earlier premature baby born, you will see the vernix and the lanugo. It'll have like a hair all over it and this fatty secretion. The fetal position is assumed because of space restrictions. The limbs reach near final proportions. Quickening occurs. This is when the mother first feels the fetus. And the approximate length is 190 millimeters. Months 6 and 7. In this period, the weight increases substantially, and it may survive if born prematurely at 27 to 28 weeks. But the hypothalamic temperature regulation and lung production of surfactant are still inadequate. Myelination of the spinal cord begins. The distal limb bones are beginning to ossify. The skin is wrinkled and red. Fingernails and toenails are present. The body is very lean but well proportioned. Bone marrow becomes the sole site of blood cell formation. And testes reach the scrotum in the 7th month in males, so they have descended. The approximate length from crown to rump is 280 millimeters. And in months 8 and 9, so a term baby, the skin is whitish pink. Fat is laid down in the subcutaneous tissue, or the hypodermis, and the normal length is about 14 inches, and the weight is 7 pounds or more.